Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Buffett and Beyond Stock Analysis Video Podcast with your host, Dr. Joseph Belmonte, which is me, and Debbie with a Y. Hi, Debbie.
Hey, hello.
And all these methodologies are based on the book Buffett and Beyond, second edition by Dr. Joseph Belmonte and published by ORLY Publishing. And remember, folks, if you want to live on the beach like Jimmy Buffett, you've got to learn how to invest like Warren Buffett. Now remember, folks, the clean surplus return on equity is both a comparable and a predictability model and is totally different than the traditional accounting return on equity. So don't get them mixed up. And you can equate the clean surplus return on equity as the interest rate you get from a bank. So this is common sense now. A bank account with a higher return or interest rate will earn you more money than an account earning a lower interest rate. So it just follows that portfolios made up of stocks with high clean surplus ROEs or return on equity will outperform other portfolios made up of stocks with lower return on equity or interest rate. So think of your bank account when we talk about these stocks. The good.
Stocks that should be in our portfolio.
The bad.
Stocks that should be in somebody else's portfolio.
And the ugly.
Oh, stocks that should be in nobody's portfolio.
Okay, let's get on with some stocks. You'll see exactly how this method works and how we here at Buffett and Beyond set the investing parameters so that you, all of you, can outperform most of the professional money managers out there in investment land. And this week we're going over a stock in the retail automotive business, and it's our old friend O'Reilly, stock symbol ORLY. And remember, folks, if you want to live on this beach like Jimmy Buffett, you've got to learn how to invest even better than Warren Buffett. And let's see what O'Reilly does. It supplies aftermarket auto parts, tools, equipment, and accessories to both do-it-yourself customers and professional mechanics or service technicians. Now, folks, you don't think that when you drop your car off at the local gas station and have a couple of service bays there, that they have all those parts in stock. No. As soon as they find out what's wrong with your car, they call O'Reilly and they pick it up or they have it delivered. And this way, those small mom-and-pop repair stations don't have to have that large inventory that's needed with today's cars. Now, this company also offers services including used oil and battery recycling, wiper bulb replacement, and as of the end of this past year, it operated 5,929 stores in 47 states and 42 in Mexico. Now, since last year, they have added 200 stores. So this was 5,700 stores just last year. And they went from 25 stores in Mexico to 42 stores in Mexico over this past year. So you can see that they are expanding outside of this country also, as well as inside this country. And as of the end of this past January, it had 87,745 employees, and that's up about 4,000 employees in the past year, including over 16,000 part-timers. That's up 2,000 in the past year. So you can see this company is still expanding, and that's what we want to see in a growth company. Now, let's see what the clean surplus return on equity is, but I want to show you this net income over here. Now, remember, net income is the clean surplus earnings. You take traditional accounting earnings, you take away non-recurring items, such as the president's Maserati that he drives around in. All of those things are charged off to the company, but they're not recurring items. Or sale of land that the company bought some time ago to put their offices on and then sold the offices to move into bigger offices. Well, that profit on that building shows up on the income statement as earnings, as an increase in earnings, but that's not their actual operating income. So net income is operating income, non-recurring items, and future liabilities. So really where I was getting to is that for 2022, this was raised $2, and then for 2023, this was raised about $2, and now we have numbers for 2024, or I should say expected numbers for 2024. That's a while away, but we look at them because analysts are asking or thinking or estimating what this company will be making next year. Now, when we look at the clean surplus return on equity, remember the average stock in the S&P 500 has a 13%, actually a little lower right now, about, let's call it 13% clean surplus return on equity. So stocks with a higher clean surplus return on equity will most of the time outperform the S&P 500. And remember, over any 10-year period, 96% of professional money managers who manage the publicly traded mutual funds cannot outperform the S&P 500. And that's a Morningstar report, just in case you wanted to know. Now, we look at the retention rate. The retention rate means how much of what the company is making does it put back into itself in order to grow. And in this case, what we like is that this stock does not pay out a dividend, so it puts all the money back into itself in order to grow. We like that in a growth stock. We want to see that. Now, the net income growth and the revenue growth for this year, so we're looking at 2023, the net income growth for the average stock is all the way, which normally is around 13%, is down to about 3%. Can you imagine that? So yeah, we're looking at for this, we're looking at all the stocks in our database, which comes to around 1,400 stocks. So net income growth for 2023 is way above average, and net income for 2024, what the average net income is for 2024, we have no clue. We're not even guessing right now because 2024 numbers are just starting to come out, or I should say estimates are just starting to come out. But when you look at the net income growth over the 5-year average of 18.7%, with the average stock averaging a little under 13%, you can see this is a better than average stock. Now, revenue growth for the average stock is about 7%. So when we look at 2023, when we look at 2024 estimates, and when we look at the 5-year average, we're looking at more than doubling the average stock when it comes to revenue growth. So this stock is a better than average stock in all categories. Years to pay debt, this is Buffett's rule of thumb. And he says if a company takes all the money it's making and just uses it to pay off its debt, how many years would it take to pay off that debt? And his rule of thumb is 5 years. We want to see 3 years or less. And this company can pay off its debt in 2 years if it had to pay off its debt with all the money that it was making. And again, no dividend, so that means this company is putting all the money it makes back into itself in order to grow. Usually, people look at a dividend and say, I like a stock with a dividend. I want to see a dividend. And all these years, we have all thought that dividends are very, very good. But when you start doing research and you start looking at the stocks which outperform, then you come to the conclusion that if a stock is a good growth stock, I don't want to see them pay a dividend because I'd rather see them put them back into itself in order to grow, which means when I own this stock, and I do own O'Reilly Auto, when I own this stock, it's going to go up in value faster than a stock that pays out dividends. So you have to think about that. And don't forget, dividends are double taxed. They're taxed at the corporate level, and then when you declare it, you're declaring it as ordinary income, even though it says dividend income. It's usually taxed at almost your ordinary income. And that changes every 4 years, folks. So Congress can change that anytime they want about how much tax you're going to pay on dividends. So rather than have that and avoid double taxation, I want to see 100% retention rate. All right, let's see how this stock did in the past 12 months. The black line is the S&P 500. It is up about a whopping 5%. O'Reilly, which is the mustard-colored line, is up almost 60%. Folks, this is absolutely amazing. And now I want to show you something else. Over the past 5 years, with the S&P up a little over 50%, this stock is up about 260%. Folks, over 5 years, this stock is making 5 times more than the S&P 500. So we're looking at a very, very good stock here. But I'm not finished yet. Let's look at 2022, which is this area right in here. For 2022, the S&P was down 19.6%. O'Reilly was up 19.5%. Folks, would you rather be up 19.5% or down 19.6%? That's almost a 40% difference. Now, why do I look at 2022? Because we want to see a stock, or we like to see a stock that's a defensive stock, but also on the growth stock outperforms the market when the market goes up. So not only does this stock act as a defensive stock during a recession. Why? Because people will hold on to buying a new car during a recession because they're not sure of their jobs. Exactly right. So they'll hold off and they'll repair the old clunker, and that's where O'Reilly comes in. So stocks like O'Reilly and AutoZone do very, very well during recessions. If people put them in their portfolios, it's number one, it's because they're defensive stocks, and number two, they outperform the S&P 500. And remember, 96% of professional money managers cannot outperform the S&P 500. So folks, we have a good stock here. We like O'Reilly. And yes, it's a better than average stock. That's what the numbers show. And then when we look at performance, we see it is much better than an average stock.
Well, JB, I think we've just about covered all the questions sent in by our listeners out there in investment land. And remember, folks, we're here to answer your questions not only about individual stocks, but also about the stock market in general. So keep those questions coming, and who knows, we may even answer a question or two you didn't even know you had. And that's about it for today, JB.
Okay, folks, don't forget, if you want to receive a full free month of all our letters and complete access to our computer program, just go to our site, BuffettandBeyond.com, and sign up. Remember, all you need to manage your own portfolio, and it's free. Hey, just go to BuffettandBeyond.com, and remember, Buffett is spelled with 2 F's and 2 T's. That's BuffettandBeyond.com. Okay, folks, we had a great day today.
And tomorrow will be even better.
All right, bye, folks. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
And remember, folks, if you want to live on the beach like Jimmy Buffett, you've got to learn how to invest like Warren Buffett. We've had a good week, folks, and here's hoping that next week will be even better. You have a safe weekend, and we will see you next time.